Hello guys, this is CharlesGPT YouTube channel from the future. So in this tutorial we'll be using just an if and else statement and a little bit of while loop to create a movie store. So if you want to improve your skills in C sharp, I just guess you should follow my steps. If you have learned something but you still want to improve your skills, I just hope you follow my steps and make sure you subscribe. Okay, so we'll start with declaring the variables of the movie. So I'll just name this, the title of the movie would be, okay, we'll just name it title 1 because since it's a string, we need these two double quotes. So the Godfather for this. Okay. So then we need the movie genre, and it's also a string as well. So we'll do string movie. If you see my naming convention this time, I'm using a camel case naming convention. Okay, so January 1 was crime and drama. So this is the drama. Okay, you make sure you remember your semicolon at the end of your variables. Then we will use this int release year 1 equals 1972. Okay, so then we now save it we use a boolean for this. So boolean movie available 1 equals true. Okay, we'll set this as true initially. Then so these are movie title for our movie 1, the genre for our movie 1, and the release year for our movie 1, and the availability is set as true, so it's available. Then I'm going to be creating like 5 movies today. So let me just copy this because I'm lazy. Let me just paste this, paste this, paste this, and paste this. Okay, since this is a beginner friendly video, I will just make sure to make it as beginner as possible, friendly as possible. So I'll explain everything though. So I'll change all these variables to I'll add 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it will remove this red squiggly line there. So this is movie 3, release day of movie 3, and movie availability of movie 3. So this is for movie 4, and 4. Then it's 4. Then this one as well. 5, 5, 5, and 5. Okay, now let us fill in the options so it won't be boring because all our movies can't just have the same name. So this, I'll use this Godfather, I'll use it to be the Lord of the Rings, and Lord of the Rings is an adventure and fantasy. Then this would be, I think, 2003. Yeah, 2003. We set it as true. It's available for us. Then I'll use this as the matrix. The matrix. Okay. So the matrix. Then the matrix is action and science. Yeah. So its release year is 1999, and we'll leave it as true. So our fourth movie, we'll name it the Red Turtle, and the genre would be animation and drama as well. So animation and drama. Then the release year would be 2016. Then we set it as 4, so we have a borrowed movie, a movie that is not available in our store yet. So we'll just set it as 4, so we'll see what we can do with it. Then the last movie would be, I don't know who have watched this, but the Touring Horse. So it will just be a drama. That will be okay. So then the release date will be 2011, and we'll set it as false. False. Okay, since we are going to be creating this with just a little bit of while loop, as an easy way I usually use my while loop. So I will declare a boolean variable named continue program equals, we'll name it as, we'll leave it as true. Okay, initially our while loop will be running, it will be running till the user wants to exit the store. So since the continue program is initially set as true, we will create a while loop and enter. Then inside the while loop we'll put continue program. So it will keep, our store will keep going as long as the continue program is set to true. So some people might just be like continue program equals true, but it still does the same thing as this. So we'll just leave it as this, so it won't be much code. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do is how our structure of our store would be. So I'll write some text message to begin with CW tab. So it would be, let's say, /end for new line. So we'll be like, welcome to CharlesGPT movie store. Okay, welcome CharlesGPT movie store. I mean to say CW tab. Okay, so we now do, so what will the user be able to do in the movie store? For one, we'll have view available movies. Okay, view available movies. I spelled available correctly this time. So what will he do for secondly? Second would be he can rent a movie. Rent a movie. Okay, so what can he do again? CW tab. He can return a movie. So in case he wants to return a movie, so let's return a movie. Return a rented movie. I think this video will be quite long, but I hope you watched to the end of the video. So then CW tab, we have, so the next one will be 4 to exit. Let's do 4 dots exit, so he can exit the movie. He can exit the movie store. So now he can view available movies, rent a movie, return a rented movie, and then exit. Then we'll ask the user for an input. Then after showing him these things, we'll ask him to, let's put it in a new line. I like using new lines, so my structures would be neat and cool. So tell him select an option from 1 to 4 to continue. Okay, so you ask the user select an option from 1 to 4 to continue. Since I'm asking the user for input, I prefer using console.write than write line. So we will store the user's input. So we'll name it as string, is a string user option. So since you select an option, let's just save the variable as the user's input as string user option, so it will be very understandable if someone else wants to read your program. Because console.readLine. Okay, so this is the first thing we are going to start with. So if I should run my program now, let me see what happens. Hold on, it takes time. Okay, yeah, you see this. Let me zoom it out a little bit so you guys can see it very clearly. Welcome to CharlesGPT movie store. View available movies, rent a movie, return a movie, and do this thing. So let's see if it works properly. So if I click on 1, enter, it goes again because we have not declared a way to exit from our while loop. So anything I click on, we just keep going and going. Okay, so we just keep going and going. Shit. Okay, guys, I think my program crashed because of the while loop, because I don't have any function to any code to exit from the while loop. So I had to pause a little bit and fix things. So let's continue. So this is the while loops. We are testing the while loop earlier. Okay, so let's continue with our if and else statements. So this time around now we'll do like some few if and else statements. So we'll handle the user's option. If user option is equals to, since we are saving it in a string data type, we are going to use this equals to 1. If you use an int, if you converted the options to an int, you can use like normal 1 like this. But if you do it like this, since we're using a string, it will give an error. So if user option is equals to 1, we will do anything inside this line of code. Let's do other else if first before we jump into our coding. And just give a little bit of space here and continue here. So else if Caplos should help me out. Else if user option is equals to, it does this line of code. Then else if user option is equals 3, it does this line of code. Sorry, not 3 like 3. Yeah, it does this line of code. So I'll just copy this. Control C, Control V. Else if user option is what's this? Okay, is equals 4, then it does this line of code. Then we'll put our last else statement. The reason I'm putting this else statement is in case the user doesn't enter anything within 1 to 4. So we'll tell the user, yo, you should enter something between 1 to 4. So I like to firstly do our else statements. Okay, so our else statement would be CW tab, and I'll put it in a new line because I like making my work look neat. So invalid selection. So just make sure you know the structure of how you're going to tell the user to please. What's wrong? Okay. Please enter a number 1 to 4. Then these are our else statements. You see, everything is still inside our while loop. Everything is still inside our while loop. Okay, everything is still inside our while loop. So there's something I'll do to make it more fun. So still inside our while loop. So if our program is still going, if continue program is still going, we can just be asking the user before he will choose another movie to let's say and new line, because I need this. Then new line, press enter to continue. Okay, so press enter to continue. Let me put this pen. Okay, press enter to continue. Then we'll use this Console.ReadLine. Yeah, so it can give, so our program won't be look too immature or something. So I'll use this if statement. It's not necessary to use this at the end, just in case. So I'll use that can be clicking on enter before it will enter the while loop or something. So let's go back to filling our program. So we'll go back to the 1 if the user's option is 1. So let's fill it in. So if the user's option is 1, what are we going to do? So since it's 1, he wants to view, the user wants to view the available movies, all the movies in our store. So what we are going to do for that will be CW tab, and let me put this message for the user. new line. I just like using new line, so there will be space and it will be visible for you guys to read, and also any other programmer that is reading it. So movie lists with details. Okay, so movie list with details. We will have, then we use a for loop to go through each movie. So for, let's write, and then let's impute what will be in our for loop. For, you need the data type is a integer, is an integer, always an integer. So most people use I equals to, but to make this more specific, I mean to say, the I means index. So I would just be like, for int movie index is equals 1, then you need your semicolon again. Then since we have like 5 movie, index is less than or equals 5, then we need our semicolon again for increments. Then we now do movie index plus plus. So it will loop through all our movies from 1 to 5. Loop through all our movies from 1 to 5. So then we use another if and else statement inside our for loop, and that is if and else statement inside our for loop. So it will go like this: if the movie index is equals 1, if movie index equals to 1, then we'll do this time. So as it's looping, it will be giving the details of all our movies. Then CW tab will say, let me give another new line because I like new lines, so it will be readable for everyone. So we'll be like 1 dot. So the title for our 1 would be, then we'll concatenate. I like using interpolation most of the times, but since this is a beginner friendly video, I'll be using concatenation. So movie title 1. So this is the title. We'll call the movie title 1 if the index is equals to 1. So the next one will go like CW tab, the genre. I don't know if I'm getting the correct pronunciation for the genre those, but we'll do plus concatenation movie genre 1. Where's the genre 1? Okay, movie genre 1. Okay, so CW tab. Then we will need the year of release. Then year of release is equals, so we'll concatenate it plus release year 1. Then there is a way I want us to display whether the movie is available or rented. We're going to use what they're calling a ternary operator. So how it goes is, so we'll just be like movie, just like an if and else statement, but a shorter form of if and else statement. So if the movie is available, we'll do like a question mark. If the movie is available, then print available. Then else, but it's like a ternary operator, but it's just like more easier. So it's just like an if and else statement, but it's a ternary operator. You add a question mark here and then this colon here. So if the movie is available, print available, else print rented. So that's how it goes. So to not waste much time on this, our user option 1, let me copy this, Control C. We are still working inside the for loop as it's going. So I'll copy this and use like an else if statement inside. Then if users movie index equals 2, then we'll change this to 2. Then the title would be 2. Then 2. Then release year would be 2. Then movie available would be 2. Okay, so is there another thing I need to change? Okay, no, nothing else. So I'll just copy this else if and fill in others. So Control C. Note, we are still working inside the for loop. That's what this movie index is for those of you that are confused. It's what the movie index is for. 1, 2, then let's use now else if user movie index equals 3, then let's display the movie of 3 3 and change this to 3 as well. So then if we have 4 movies, so we are going to do we have 5 movies, so we are going to do this 5 times. And just put the last one. Note, it's still inside our for loop. So this one would be 5. This one would be 4. So you can just copy and paste the remaining ones and be editing the numbers there. That's why I named them like movie 1, movie 2, movie 3, so I can just easily edit them quickly. So movie 4, I mean well, movie 4. So if the movie index is 5, then we'll go like, sorry, movie 5. The title will be title 5. The genre, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it well, genre will be 5, and release day 5, then availability of 5 as well. Okay, so that's why we named our variable like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so we can easily iterate through the thing, the variable. So this is our first if statement. If the user's option is 1, so let's run it to see what happens. So start the program. Okay, let's test it out. Okay, so if I select 1, let's enter so you see what happens. 1, you see it gives us movie list with details. You see the new lines I was giving, it makes it look neat. So you see movie 1 is available, 2 available, 3 available, but 4 and 5 is rented because we set it as false. So these are the movie details in our movie store. These are the details of the movie in our movie store. So we have not yet done anything. So if I click enter, it still takes us here because we haven't done anything to exit our while loop. So let's go and fill in our other things. So quickly, I think we should just fill in the 4, then we should go on, because the 4 is pretty much easy, because since it's exiting, let's just fill in the 4, then it will remain like 2 and 3. So if user's option is equals 4, we'll just be like, let's print out something. Then since it's just exiting the loop, I need to fill it out first, like fast. So thank you for getting movies from Charles GPT store. From Charles GPT store. Let me put more message though. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for getting movies from CharlesGPT store. Have a wonderful day. So you can edit it to your own preference though. So then for exiting, then we now set continue program equals false. So once the user click on 4, we exit the while loop. So that's why we set it to false, because the while loop we keep iterating through everything as long as the continue program is true. So if we want to exit, we have to set it to false to exit the while loop. Okay, so that is it. So let's fill in 2 and 3. 2 is to rent a movie, and 3 is to return a rented movie. So to do this, we would do like, let me check this out. Okay, so the user's input is equals to 2. So firstly, we'll list out the movies that are available. Okay, we'll list out the movies that are available. Else, if user's input is the extent of console.readline, will be like, you will see my new line. I always use my new line to make it more cool and readable, very readable. So list of movies would be, let me just put this. Okay, list of movies. So list out the movie for the user. The tab would be 1. The first movie would be this. We'll concatenate it. Note, we are working with the else if users option is 2. We are done with the 1 to view details. This time he wants to like rent a movie. So plus movie title 1. Okay, so movie title. So we are going to show him all the movies in our list, then tell him which movie did he or she wants to rent. So let me just copy this. See, so there are 5 movies in our store. So I will just be like, these 2 and these 2, then these 3 and these 3, then these 4 and these 4, then these 5 and this 5. Okay, so this the list of our movies. Let's display all the lists to the users. We use concatenation for this. So then after displaying the list, we'll be like CW tab. I like using my new line, sorry, yeah. New line, then I'll be like enter the movie you want to rent. So I'll give him an option 1 to 5. Okay, enter the movie he wants to rent from 1 to 5. So let's give him a space to enter his input. So then we'll save it in a string variable named user rent option. Okay, rent option equals to console.readline times caplot. So that's it. So we now use an if and else statement for this. Then if how we're going to do it still inside the two is if, let's see it out, if user rent option is equals 1 and movie is available, let's call our available, yeah. If user rent option equals to 1 and movie available is this, then we'll set it to false. So if the user clicked on 1 then and the movie is available, we'll set it to false. So if he borrows the movie, then the movie won't be available anymore. So it's movie available equals false. So if the user borrowed the movie, we'll set it to false. Okay, so CW tab, then we now have to give him a message. I'll use my new line as well. You guys shouldn't be angry. I always like using it. You have successfully borrowed. You have successfully not borrowed. Borrow is for book. Rented. You have successfully rented this movie title 1. Okay, so you have, if the user's rent option is equals to 1 and the movie is available, it will set it to false because 1 was set as true initially. So if the user rents the movie, it will be false. Then we'll output a message saying, yo, you have successfully rented the movie. Okay, so let me just copy this and do it for the rest. Just easy as that. Control C. Just know the structure you want your code to go. So, and it's how everything will go. So Control V, we change this to 2. If user rent option equals to 2 and movie available is 2, then we set movie 2 availability to false, and we now say you have successfully rented movie title 2. So this would be in an else if statement. Else if user's rent option equals to 2 and movie available is 2, then it does this. So I'll just copy this and paste for others as well. Control C, Control V. Okay, so let's work with 3. So if user rent option equals to 3 and movie available, 3, then we set movie 3 to false, and we say you have successfully rented movie title 3. Okay, so you have successfully rented movie title 3, and so we will do the, since we know that, then we'll now go for the next ones. Okay, so we'll now go for another else and if statement. So Control V. So this is the 4th one. So, and this, since we know that this not, instead of us wasting our time to give another if and else statement inside this else if for 4 and 5, because we know that 4 and 5 is not available. So what we are going to do is we are going to change the structure of this. So since 4 and 5 is not available, we'll say if user's rent option equals to 4 and this and is a comparison operator, or logical, logical operator. So if user rent option equals 4 and movie is not available, let me change this to 4, then we just clear this line of code because it's already false, so no need to do this. So I'll just input inside here something like CW tab, sorry, this telling the user sorry, movie title for, then I'm using concatenation for this. So since it's a beginner friendly video, I'm using concatenation for it. So already rented. So sorry, movie title 4 is already rented. So that's what we're going to do for movie title 5 as well, since we already know that it's not available. So since it's not available, we'll do it same thing, Control V, then 5, then not available movie 5, and we'll change this to 5. So lastly, we'll need to use our else statement to, you know, we need to use our else statement to capture in case the user don't choose a valid input from 1 to 5 from here. You see, we are saying enter the movie you want to rent 1 to 5. So it have, if the user's rent option is 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, then it gives this thing. Then else, if the user doesn't like enter any of the option, let's give him a message like this. Yeah, I'll use my new line though. Sorry. Invalid selection, or the movie is already rented. Let us tell the user please try again. So these are else statements in case the user don't choose any book from 1 to 5, invalid selection, or the movie is already rented, please try again. So I think that's it for 2. The 2, yeah, that's it for 2. I think yeah, that's it for 2. So 3 is pretty much the same thing as 2, to return a rented movie. So what we're going to do now is, so this video won't waste time, you go to your 2, the code you wrote in your 2, and copy every line of code from this user option equals 2. So just copy this list of movie, since we are just returning the rented movie. Let me copy, I don't know why this is slowing down. Okay, yeah, so we'll just copy everything, keep going. Okay, yeah, so yeah, Control C. So since we are working with returning the rented movie, so we'll just put all our options, all the things from 2, and we'll make few editings though from 2, then we'll put it inside 3, Control V. Because if you see, 3 is to return a rented movie right here, 2 is to rent a movie, and 3 is to return a rented movie. So for 3, we'll still do the same thing though. So we'll give out the user the list of movies like this, list of movies, this. Enter the movie you want to, no more rents, or we use enter the movie you want to return from 1 to 5. Enter the movie you want to return from 1 to 5. I think I'll just give a semicolon here, so it will be more, and I'll change the inputs to write console.write, and this as well, I'll change the inputs to console.write, and I'll give a semicolon here so there will be space for the user's entry. Okay, so for the third user option, and it will be the last, then we'll run the program. So we'll give the user the list of the movies, same thing as we copied from the 2 option 2. So we'll give the user the list of the movies 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So enter the movie you want to return 1 to 5. So we'll save it as user rent option. We'll just use it as user rent option, the same thing, because it doesn't matter if you save it as the same thing. So we'll just leave it like that. So if user rent option is equals to 1, and this time around we'll do this operator is not. So if it's not available, then since it's returning something, we now set it back to true. So since the user is returning back the movie, it was initially set to false in 2, in our option 2. You see, this is initially, if the user rents the movie, it will be set to false. So returning back the movie, it will be set to true, and will now be like you have successfully, no more rented, will be like you have successfully returned movie title 1. Okay, so for the second one, we'll now have user rent option equals 2, and we will do if it's not available. That means the user borrowed the book. If the availability is false, that means the user borrowed the book. And since he wants to return the book, we'll now set this back to true. True, and say you have successfully not rented. I say we are going to be editing this a lot. So returned movie title 2. So for the third one, the same thing in the third one, not this. So we'll change this to true. You see, you have successfully returned movie title 3. Okay, so we'll change this to return, since we are returning in the third option, return movie title 3. So for the next one, we'll have 4. If user rent option equals 4 and this, then we'll still do the same thing for 4 though. Oh shit, we don't need to do this for 4 because 4 was rented. So we'll just, let me just copy this for 4 and 5 as well. Control C. So I'll copy this for 4 and I'll paste it right here. Control V. Okay, so and I'll do the same thing for 5. Control V. Okay, so let's do the editing. So if user rent option equals 4 and movie is not available, we'll set movie availability of 4 to true, then telling me I've successfully returned movie title 4. Then if user rent option equals 5 and movie 5 is not available, we'll set movie 5 to true, and you have successfully returned movie title 5. Then we now use the else statement as we used in the user's option for 2, and we give an input like invalid selection. But this time let's just change some few things though, just few things. Oh, there's my text. Oh shit. I'll just write it back. Okay, invalid selection. Let's just use the invalid selection like this. Invalid selection. Either the movie was not rented or you entered an invalid number. Okay, either the movie was not rented or you entered an invalid number. So so that's it. That's everything. We have set everything up. So if we look at our code again, so these all our movies. So we have like 4 options, 1, 2, 3, and 4 options. So if we ask the user what he wants to do in our store, 1 is to view, 2 is to rent, 3 is to return, and 4 is to exit. So if you see, if option is 1, we do this line of code, we iterate through the movie using a for loop. Then if option is 2, we show this to borrow. If you want to rent and available, we set it to false, and same thing we did for 3 as well. Then 4 is to exit. 4 is to exit. If user option equals to 4, we'll tell him thank you for getting movie from CharlesGPT store. Then continue program will set to 4, so we can exit the loop. Then else, if the user did not choose anything from 1 to 4, it will give him or her invalid selection. Then this is just for coolness. Please enter to continue. So let's run it to see how it goes. Okay, so let me zoom it a little bit out. So let's see how our movie goes this time around. So select an option from 1 to 4 to continue. So I'll do 1, view available movies. So these are all our movies. Okay, these are all our movies. So press enter to continue. Enter. Welcome CharlesGPT movie store. What do you want to do again with us? So 2 is to rent a movie. So 2, rent a movie. List of movies. This list of movies. Enter the movie you want to rent. Okay, let me say I want to rent Godfather 1. You have successfully rented The Godfather. So let me click on enter again. So let me view available movies. You see Godfather is now set to rented. Initially it was set as available, but now since I've borrowed the movie, it's set as rented right here. So let me click enter again to go again. So let me return Godfather, return. So list of movie, enter the movie you want to return. I'll click 1, enter. You have successfully returned The Godfather. So if I click enter again, welcome to CharlesGPT movie store. Then let me view all the movies again. So you see Godfather is now available. Godfather is now available. Okay, let's see. You see 4 is rented and 5 is rented. Let's return 4 and 5. Enter. Okay, let me click on enter. So let's return 4 and 5 and see the movie again. So 3 and return a rented movie. 4 and 5. So we go for let me return 4. Okay, you have successfully returned the red turtle since you know it was rented. So if I click on enter again, we still keep going. View available movies. So if you can see, 4 is now available, 5 is the only one that is rented. So if I click on enter now, so that's how it goes. You can just test out all the whole cool functionalities of the program and stuff like this. Since I was trying to make this a 40 minutes video, I think we'll stop here. So if you joined me, congrats, you are improving your works, and that's it. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more tutorials like this. Okay, so let me just exit this before stopping the video. So exit the loop. Thanks for getting movies from CharlesGPT store. Have a wonderful day, and it closes. Thanks, guys.